The best gift would be if you just died. The words didn't echo in the room. They sank straight into my chest. For a moment, I wondered if I had misheard my own daughter, the child I had carried, protected, and funded for her entire adult life. She stood across from me in my living room, arms crossed, irritation on her face, waiting for my reaction like she had just made a clever joke. It was my birthday. I had expected something small. A card. Maybe a forced hug. I had learned not to expect much from her anymore. Still, nothing prepares a parent to hear their child casually wish them dead. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I asked quietly, "Is that really how you feel?" She sighed, rolled her eyes, and said, "You're dramatic. You know what I mean. You control everything with your money. If you were gone, I'd finally be free." Free. I thought of the tuition I paid without question. The apartment I bought her so she wouldn't struggle. The business loan I guaranteed when banks refused her. The monthly transfers she never even thanked me for. I nodded slowly, as if I finally understood something that had been blurry for years. "Okay," I said. She blinked. "Okay, what?" I smiled politely. "Okay. If that's your wish." She laughed, already pulling out her phone, done with the conversation. To her, this was just another outburst, another moment she assumed would disappear like all the others. But something inside me had gone very still. That night, alone with a slice of untouched cake, I opened my laptop. I reviewed the trust documents. The automatic payments. The silent safety nets she never knew existed. I realized something painful but freeing: love had turned into entitlement, and my silence had taught her that cruelty had no cost. I didn't sleep much. By morning, my decision was made. If my existence was such a burden to her freedom, then she would finally experience life without it. Not my life. My funding. I didn't announce anything. That was the hardest part, and the most powerful. I simply made calls. The accountant first. Then the lawyer. Then the bank. Each conversation was calm, professional, irreversible. Automatic transfers, cancelled. Trust access, frozen. Business guarantees, withdrawn. By noon, the safety net was gone. 3 days later, my phone rang. "Mom?" Her voice was sharp, confused. "My card got declined." I waited a second before answering. "That happens sometimes." "No, it doesn't," she snapped. "Fix it." I almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was so familiar. The command. The certainty. "I won't," I said. Silence. Then anger. "What do you mean you won't?" "I mean," I replied evenly, "I'm no longer funding your life." She exploded. Accusations flew: control, manipulation, abuse. She said I was punishing her for one stupid sentence. "One sentence," I repeated, "that showed me who you've become." She hung up on me. Over the next week, I heard from everyone else. Her husband called, suddenly polite. There must be a misunderstanding. Her friends messaged, urging me to be the bigger person. Even a distant cousin weighed in, reminding me that a parent's love should be unconditional. No one asked how I felt. No one asked what it's like to hear your child wish you dead. When she finally showed up at my door, her confidence was gone. She looked smaller. Tired. Real life was heavier than she expected. "I didn't mean it," she said quickly. "You know I say stupid things when I'm stressed." I studied her face, waiting for something I had waited for years to see. Remorse. Ownership. Understanding. It didn't come. "What you meant," I said, "is that my value to you was financial." "That's not fair," she protested. "It's accurate," I replied. She softened her voice. "I need help." I nodded. "I believe you." Hope flickered in her eyes. But, I continued, needing help and being entitled to it are not the same thing. Her face hardened. So you're just abandoning me? I shook my head. No. I'm stepping back. For the first time in your life, you'll learn what your choices cost. She left without hugging me. For the first time, I didn't chase after her. Months passed. I heard updates through others, missed payments, downsizing, arguments, stress. Life was finally speaking to her in a language I had shielded her from. I used that time to do something radical. I lived. I traveled without guilt. I enrolled in classes I'd postponed for decades. I made friends who knew me as a person, not a provider. And slowly, the ache softened. One afternoon, my daughter called again. Her voice was different. Quieter. Careful. I owe you an apology, she said. Not for the money. For what I said. I closed my eyes. That wasn't about stress, she continued. It was about how little I saw you as a human being. And I'm ashamed. I didn't rush to forgive. I let the silence sit. Finally, I said, I'm open to rebuilding. But it won't be bought. She agreed. We started slowly. Conversations, not transactions. Boundaries, not bailouts. She never regained the funding. She did regain something else, respect. And I regained myself. If you're listening to this story and feeling guilty for setting boundaries, remember this. Love doesn't require self-erasure. Support doesn't mean sacrifice without limits. And respect should never have to be purchased. If this story resonated with you, like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories about self-worth, boundaries, and quiet strength.